The latest at the top and bottom of the hour.
More street violence in Baltimore.
It's not surprising.
Stay connected.
Dennis Hastert was indicted.
This
There is no strategy.
is News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Good morning. Well, the internet has become an integral part of our lives, so much so that it's relied on sometimes for professional advice for our every ailment, whether mental or physical. More and more people are going online in a self-diagnosis attempt because there is a wealth of information on health-related matters online. And we have Dr. James Pinckney on with us this morning, a medical expert with Diamond Physicians. He's been a guest of ours before and has been a tremendous source of information. Dr. James, good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning, Neil.
I recently had a conversation with my own doctor about this very issue, and I know from firsthand conversations with a number of physicians that the amount of information that is available online is a blessing and a curse. People are misdiagnosing themselves, and this has become quite an issue for doctors trying to set people straight when they come in with misinformation.
You know, it is. It's actually a huge problem in my own office at Diamond Physicians here in Dallas. Clients will often come in with a self-diagnosis, and it's completely wrong. So I spend a lot of time educating our clients on, come to me first, give me a call. Now, our program's a little bit different because our clients have 24/7 access to me, but in traditional medicine, I believe the reason why people are going to the internet because they don't have the opportunity to get to a doctor in a timely fashion.
That could be an issue. Economics could also be an issue. So many are uninsured or find it extremely expensive to maintain their health care. It's challenging out there.
It is, and it actually is a double-edged sword, just like you said. It's a lot of information, and you can misdiagnose yourself, but also when you're doing these symptom checker websites, things can go missed. So you can actually have a very serious condition that maybe that program or that website does not pick up. And now you're in even more trouble because you have this false sense of security and you don't go see a doctor because you think there's nothing wrong.
There is a reason why physicians spend so much time on their education and residency and so forth. You might go online and look up a particular symptom that you're having, but you don't have the benefit of that hands-on experience with a physician who can then ask you the appropriate questions to determine an accurate diagnosis.
That's exactly right. Medicine is full of very complex algorithms, and we go to school for 8 to 10 years to figure out these algorithms and take the important symptoms to the front and push the unimportant symptoms to the back and try and figure out, okay, what's the diagnosis? And it's very intricate, very complex, and a lot of times websites are unable to do that at this point. Now, I'm sure sometime in the future, maybe 15, 20 years ago, these algorithms will become more sophisticated, and we will be able to accurately diagnose things with a computer. But right now, the physician is by far your best resource.
I understand, too, and I wasn't aware of this, Dr. James, but apparently there are a number of bogus sites out there that are basically just looking in for information, and their own information is not accurate.
Oh, absolutely. I had a client come in the other day and tell me that it was okay for pregnant women to drink wine because she had read that in an article. And I was just dumbfounded. I was like, absolutely not. So I sent her some articles on the risks of ingesting alcohol while pregnant. It's called microcephaly. That can happen, all kinds of birth defects. So there is a lot of misinformation and advertising agents out there and different blog sites that are just trying to get people to the website and sell a product and will say unbelievable things that just aren't true.
Yeah, Dr. James, is there one particular area of medicine that you deal with where people try to diagnose themselves? I mean, is everybody afraid at the first sign of anything unusual that they have cancer, for example? Or what are the most common issues that you see?
Yeah, that's a common one. Typically, if someone has headaches, they think they have a brain tumor. If someone has any type of chest pain, they go straight to, am I having a heart attack? And there's so many different types of chest pain, so that's something that you really want to call your doctor immediately, or get in to see a doctor with any type of chest pain, because it's really hard to differentiate, hey, is this reflux? Is this acid reflux? Or is this what we call a myocardial infarction, a heart attack? So it really takes a trained professional to distinguish the two, and those are two of one of the most common things.
You know, another thing that I learned from talking to my doctor is something else that people do on a regular basis. Someone will see a commercial for a medication on their television,
yes,
and go running into the doctor and say, you know, I need you to, you know, prescribe me this. Well, in many cases, I understand from my doctor that the medication is totally inappropriate for the patient.
Absolutely, and pharmaceutical companies know this. That's why they've spent a lot of money on commercials and marketing campaigns to persuade the consumer to go to their doctor and ask for a specific medication, rather than vice versa, where your physician should be making the recommendations for your medications. That's a very common trend now, Neil. And it's unfortunate, but that is a marketing ploy, and they spend billions of dollars because it works.
Are you a little bit worried about the millennials, for example? They live on the internet, and it is their source of all information. Are you seeing as many young people as you should, or are they taking the advice of the medical websites rather than seeing a doctor?
Yeah, I think it is an issue. We really focus on the millennials with our program at Diamond. We really have to focus on prevention and going to see a doctor even when you're not sick. And I think our society is very reactive. We only go to the doctor when something's wrong, but we should change that way that we think, and it should be proactive. So I want the millennials to be proactive and see a doctor. I think every quarter, get your blood pressure checked, get your cholesterol checked, get your annual physical exam. And that way you're staying on top of your health, and you don't have to go to these website resources when something goes wrong. You should go to your physician.
Obviously, that is the go-to answer. But if you were, obviously there are probably hundreds of these types of sites. Are there any that are better than others?
Well, I think websites like WebMD tend to have more peer-reviewed journals on them. I definitely don't want people just to do a Google search, because you have all types of articles that are going to come up. And look at the resource. If it's written by a physician, you have a better likelihood of getting some accurate information. But the websites that I use and most physicians use are actually subscription-based. So I use a website called Up to Date, and it's several $1,000s a year. So I can't expect consumers to pay that kind of money for a website that truly gives you the most up-to-date evidence-based literature. So it goes over tens of thousands of articles and pulls out the most accurate data for us. So that's why, again, the physician should be the resource.
Yeah, and for civilians, like myself, for example, I wouldn't even know the right questions to ask or understand the terminology on these subscription-based things, because obviously medicine, just like any other technology, is constantly evolving. So you obviously need these resources to keep up to the minute on everything that's being discovered and used. That's right. The body of medicine doubles every 5 years. So it's an incredible amount of information that continues to grow and expand. So my highest recommendation would be for the listeners out there, when you get a diagnosis from your doctor, then you go to the internet and you research that specific diagnosis, that specific ailment that your doctor has given you, and that way you can educate yourself and learn more about your own body and what's going on. I do recommend that. I give my clients reading materials and homework, because I feel like when
the client understands what's going on, they're more compliant and they're more willing to follow my recommendations.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing your homework and being your own best advocate and learning more about the condition that you have. But it's certainly very important to find out exactly what that is, and that can only happen when the doctor sees you personally.
That's exactly right.
Well, I sure appreciate your time here, Dr. James. Thank you very much for being with us again. Dr. James Pinckney, medical expert with Diamond Physicians. The website is diamondphysicians.com. Dr. James, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Oh, you too. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right.